Hello and welcome. Today I have for you something that's very special and very unique, and certainly it feels like I've missed the boat on this kind of technology and these kind of gadgets, but here we are today. This is the Times frame from Divoom, and this basically is part photo frame here, part pixel art display frame, part clock, part decibel meter, and a bunch of other utilitarian functions, including a calendar and other types of displays that you can have, dynamic displays, animated displays, a photo gallery display that you'd like to have. A very nice, cool, and unique feature that's going to add pretty much and liven up your life and liven up any room or any desk for that matter using this particular device. So just a quick disclaimer before we jump into the review here. This was sent to me by Divoom for review, and regardless though, all of the opinions you'll hear in this video are entirely my own, and nobody has had editorial review of the content you'll find here in this video. That said, if you like my content and like the products I review, you can check the links in the description below. I often include discount codes to help you save a little bit of money. And if you want to support the channel a little bit further, you can use the coffee link in the description below to give us a tip. It's a small gesture, but it goes a long way to help independent creators such as myself. And what you're seeing here displayed is actually a Mario AI generated display here, a pixel art that I actually generated through the app, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But let's take a quick physical overview of the actual Times frame here, talk about how it's powered, what some of the buttons and knobs and dials are around the actual physical tour of this particular device, and then we'll jump into the actual functionality to show you guys what it does and how it can liven up your desk and your home environment. So this device here is a all plastic construction, as we can see here, and it has four sides. So basically what you're getting is a semi-transparent, you can see my hand through the back here, a semi-transparent IPS panel display here, and you have the backlight here display showing for the actual LCD panel. On the left hand side of the device you have some RGB here to kind of give some design and some aesthetic appeal to the actual display when it's on your desk. On the front here we have very little to look at, just some very discrete times framed labeling here to give the actual product name and Divoom, the actual manufacturer. On the left hand side it gets a little bit more interesting here. So on the left hand side we have this kind of basically design elements here to give it a little bit of a unique kind of cyberpunk, kind of technical, futuristic, sci-fi kind of look. We have two knob dials here. One is for the LED and for volume and things of that nature. And we have one here which is a multifunction control wheel, a back button, and then finally a settings button here. And on the rear of this device you can see that it's connected with via USB Type-C. Takes a 5-volt 2-amp cable to get this device operational. It's very simple to do. You can even do it with a USB cable powered from your laptop or even from your desktop PC. Now on the top of this device we have just a grid pattern here to give a little bit of a design element, and on the bottom it's nothing, just some feet here and some other regulatory information. As you can see here, it stands this way up. There is no other orientation. This is a portrait orientation device, so make sure you stand it up right side up. Now, the other thing here is most of the configuration for this, although it's done in the app, there are a few things that you can actually do using the jog dials here. So let's just quickly demonstrate that before we jump into the actual demo using the application, so you guys can see that the mobile app has much more functionality and control over what you can do to interact with this particular device. So the first knob dial here will allow you to adjust the brightness, and it gets pretty dim. So if you want to have something perhaps as a night light with a display, you can certainly do that. But if you have this bright enough, as you can see here in the studio lighting, it holds its own. However, it does have a little bit of a pale tincture to it because of the transparent nature of this display. Most of the backlight here is actually bleeding out the back. It is meant for an aesthetic appeal, not for to be like a computer display here. So that is something to keep in mind. And then of course, if you press this jog dial here, you can go through a lot of different interfaces that you can also adjust through the application as well. We'll look at that in just a moment. So here we have, for example, I'll just demonstrate this here. And some of the data here may be irrelevant or inaccurate because it depends on where you are and how you've adjusted the settings of these pages, and these are actually all in the application itself. So there's a photograph that I took recently to a trip to Jasper, and I can see here if we go back to this, we see that there's so many different options here to configure this device that it's actually a little bit mind-boggling. Now, because this is focused on a pixel display here, you can also do photo frames, or excuse me, photo slideshows here. So this will now continue to rotate through the different photos in a photo slideshow that you can select. Now it has a lot of useful different faces here, watch faces or clock faces. I guess you can call them frames. If you go here to Bitcoin, for example, so you can see the latest up-to-date price of Bitcoin. For those of you who are Bitcoin enthusiasts, you can also set up, and of course these can all be customized. So this particular frame here allows you to see the subscriber count, likes and count, whatever, on a one particular video for YouTube. So if you're a YouTube buff like myself, if you want to track perhaps some data and some metrics, that's something that's useful you can do. Of course, there's also other stuff about stocks, basketball games, so on and so on. A lot of different, customizability here that is present. So for example, if you look at the stock list here with just the stock or the default list of stocks that it has present or preloaded into this screen, as you can see that we get the tickers here as well, the actual values and some figures here for quick at a glance as well. So very, very useful device, much more beyond just a photo frame and display, and that's what I wanted to really show off here. Now if we press the settings button here at the bottom, you can see that there's a lot of other different things we can do. For example, there's a Pomodoro timer on board here. You can press this button, set up the timer, and get to work here. So we can do some focused activity if you'd like. Of course, you can go back, and if you go here with the button again, we have also an alarm, so you can set up multiple alarms here, and that's pretty handy if you want to use this indeed as an alarm clock. It is certainly very useful for that. And then if we continue along here, you also have a utility. So there's a few things which here are pretty useful. There's timer, there's a countdown. I found what was very interesting here is a scoreboard. So let's say if you're playing games, if you want to count how you're doing, so let's say you're playing a board game or something and you want to have just a, keep track and a count of who's winning and who's losing, this is a great tool here. Of course, you also have a noise detection meter. So this is going to be essentially a decibel meter for those of you who want to see how loud the environment is. Perhaps you're playing music, don't want to disturb your neighbors. That's a pretty handy feature. And of course, if you have your Google Calendar or your Microsoft Calendar, you can also get those paired and have them display so you see a full-size calendar, much larger, displayed permanently on your desk using that feature. So if you press the settings button here again, so in addition to the clock faces, the alarm, the utilities, you also have album management where you can go in and load your personal photos. And your personal photos have to be transferred from your mobile phone. There is no SD card. There's 64 gigabytes of internal storage built into this device, so the time frame will hold potentially hundreds of thousands of photos depending on the quality and the resolution of those photos. So you can go there and manage that. And of course, in addition to that, you have the device settings here. So here you can adjust things like the brightness, the network connection. This can connect either via Wi-Fi or via Bluetooth to your mobile connection, your mobile device. And we'll use that connection to upload, as well as it'll use the Wi-Fi connection to fetch the data that it needs to update, and so on and so forth. You can also choose the different types of grid layouts here, and of course you can adjust language and some basic things of that nature. So if we press the button here again, we can see, and finally the last thing I want to talk about here is these clock faces, so where we just were. So as I said, these clock faces come preloaded, but these aren't all there is. This is maybe about 25 or so clock faces which are loaded here. Very easy to switch through, by the way. You just kind of scroll down and select what you want, and you get a completely new desktop clock / digital pixel art display experience on here. So the other thing I want to show, as I was showing initially at the beginning of this video, is you can certainly use this to display your pixel art, and we're going to turn now to the application to show you where so much customizability is possible here, and you can have a truly customized experience for this particular device and for your digital life and for your digital lifestyle. Okay, so here we are. This is within the application here. So you can see that the application also includes an AI generation feature, but this is the home page of the app. This is called the Divoom app. You can download it from the Google Play Store or from your Apple App Store, whichever device you're on. And from here, there's a lot of different things you can do. So for example, you can go into photo album here, adjust your different albums. As you see, I've created a Jasper album with my family photos there. You can also go here and to design and create custom pixel art. You can use it to paint and draw if you'd like. And if you're that that creative and you're that talented, I certainly am not, you can do that. You can also go here and use AI drawing with a prompt. As you can see here, I did with the Mario picture. This was the prompt that I entered: Mario relaxing on a beach and drinking Coca-Cola on a beach chair, and it turned out with this 256 by 256 pixel art. You also have what's called a Danmaku interaction. So this is pretty interesting. You can go here, if you press this paw button, you get a random emoji that's displayed onto the actual time frame. You can also send a text to say, wow, for example, if I can type that is, and you'll get a random. Did I send it? No, I didn't. There we go. And you'll get a random wow tile to appear onto the actual display itself. So let's go back from there. You also have these ability to do the calendars, as I mentioned. You can adjust the Pomodoro timer from here if you like. You can adjust a lot more settings, such as the actual duration, short rest, long rest, etc. Change the colors and stuff of the animation. There's a lot of customizability there. And if we go back here, you also have the ability to do a timer. So you can set up all kinds of different timers here, multiple timers actually layered. And you also have a planner, which I just did a test to. I can show you guys here. So if you plan some activities, let's say, for example, you've decided that this is the schedule for your day and you just want to be able to quickly glance over and see where you are during the day, this could be a great way for you to keep yourself organized without needing too much digital headache. Of course, the scoreboard we looked at earlier, you can also activate this from here. And then the alarms feature that we looked at earlier is present here as well. Now, there is a whole lot more features beyond that. So these are the clock faces, the frames that you can set up. But there's also a gallery. There is a curated gallery, community contributions, where you can go through a variety of different types of pixel art. You can sort and filter by the actual resolution of the pixel art, the different categories. It's all like, available here, and there's a lot of it actually. So for example, if we select the AI category, you can see here that I particularly like this one, Mona Lisa 2.0. I thought it was actually a pretty good rendition there. But in any case, this one drinking Coca-Cola is actually pretty cool as well. So you can have a lot of fun with this to just liven up your display and your desktop to customize that experience, and then really liven up your desk. So here in this section here, there's also a chat, a gallery, and AI drawing. There's also some community features here that you can use to connect and connect with other people around the community that exists around these pixel art and pixel frames. And of course, is the About Us page, which allows you to look at what you have in your local gallery, because you can create pictures or AI frames within this, save it to your local gallery collection, and that is available to you from this picture frame as well. Now you can also upload pictures, of course, and you can have favorites here. So whatever you've selected from your gallery, if you favorite them from this gallery collection, you can save them there. There's also an expert gallery, which allows you to look at some of these basically contributors or artists, where you can subscribe to them and follow them and see their collection of pixel art that they have available. So let me just clear the filter. I think I had this set on a very high filter quality. Yeah, there we go. And you'll see here that you have a lot of stuff available here. So I can just basically tap on that, and you now have an animated, updated pixel art display on your desk. So pretty cool, I think. And I'm really impressed with the actual functionality here. And of course, you can go and create albums based on themes and collect pixel art into those and have those play either as a slideshow, rotate through, or whatever other different means that you like. Perhaps it's static and you like to come into the office or your desk and change it every single day. You also have a search feature here. And of course, as I mentioned, you can also use the plus feature here to decide that you can pair other features and pair other friends' devices as well, so you guys can contribute on artwork together. Which I think is pretty cool from a community and collaboration perspective. So a lot of different functionality baked into the application, a lot of functionality baked into the device. Truly a unique device and experience for your desk. Those of you that are looking to liven up your life and your desk experience, you should certainly be looking at the Divoom Times frame. Well, I think that's all I really have to say about this device. Very, very cool and very interesting. You may find this seated on my desk in the next upcoming video, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Anyways, if you like this video, please click the like button, please click the thumbs up button, click subscribe, and click that notification bell so you're the first to know when there's new content available here. And also, if you like any of the content I review, check the description down below for purchase links, including discount codes wherever available. And if you want to help support the channel, you can use the coffee link in the description to give us a tip. It's a small gesture, but it's much appreciated and goes a long way to help independent creators such as myself. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.